Hey everybody, Mike Shreve here. Welcome to this update video. This is going to be a different update than what you might be expecting, both in how we format this and in what I'll be updating you on. I want you to think of this as a mini program within a program because there are new concepts that are going to be introduced into what I'm teaching you in what may be a longer video. I'll try to keep it as succinct as possible, but I want you to understand that there are an unlimited number of ways to make money with this business. And I want you specifically to understand what this business really ultimately is. Okay, so let's talk about this for a second. When you run email leads, or when you run traffic to get email leads, whether that's through your break-even workshop or your break-even machine, or whether it's through your workshop machine, when you're paying traffic and we're paying money to display our stuff in front of eyeballs, and then we collect those eyeballs in the form of either registrations, right? So that would be emergency traffic would go to registration, so you're collecting emails, or whether that's downloading your Lighthouse in terms of the break-even machine that you've created. Either way, the mechanism, the very first mechanism that happens is someone gives you an email. We also tend to put these people in a Facebook group, etc., and etc. Now, I want you to understand that when we run these real human beings through our break-even machine or through our workshop, the first step is they give us their email list, and then they go through our machine, right? They get an opportunity to buy the $7 thing or the $21 thing or the whatever we say, get maybe an upsell, maybe an order bump, maybe whatever, and then they get an opportunity to buy our $1,000 thing. It's very, very important for you to understand that those machines are not the business. They are simply tools within the business, which is to say, if you look at your numbers and you say, okay, someone came in, and let's say 100 people came in, they watched the webinar and only 5 people bought. You can feel like, oh no, how am I supposed to build a business off of only 5 out of 100 people ever purchasing something? And you can feel discouraged maybe if, you spend $1,000 on ads and less than $1,000 in revenue comes in through the first go of the machine, right? It can be discouraging. You think, oh no, my business is net negative. I put $1,000 in, less than $1,000. What's important to remember and to understand that the real business that you run is that you are growing an audience that you serve. That's the real business. Now, how does that audience show up? It shows up in your email list and your Facebook group or some other community that you may create, okay? Not your paid Facebook group, although that is certainly part of your audience. I'm talking about like the open community. So for example, let's just take a look here at the open community that we have, and let's go to this really quickly. I want to show you guys something. And I want to show you how profitable this process can be, okay? Meaning when you transition from thinking that your whole business is the machines, the break-even machine and the workshop machine, to realizing that your real business is audience creation and then serving that audience, all right? So we have been running for about a year, one workshop machine. We didn't even have a break-even machine in this workshop machine. That has gotten us to about 18,000 people in our Facebook group and around 50,000 people on our email list. Now, I want to show you how I use the audience to create a business. I had an idea of maybe I could teach people a certain way to do something. I posted in my Facebook group, is there anyone who's interested in this? And I have 95 comments so far. I posted this 3 hours ago, all right? Now, let's take a look at some of these comments here. Especially this one here, where about halfway through I said, can I ask, for those of you who said yes, what's stopping you from doing that right now? My honest question, I'm curious to know if it's a knowledge thing or a confidence thing. All of these answers here are objections to my promise. Okay, so if you think about objections and the objections training I've given you, if this is my promise, let's say I create a program or a product or a done-for-you service or something to help this audience, here's all the things that are holding people back, right? So here's a bunch of objections. Here's also a bunch of things that I could think about in terms of, you know, I see a lot of people here are struggling with confidence. They're struggling with time. They're struggling with they don't really know what they want to do. So maybe in this instance, one of the things that I could offer is a done-for-you service, right? Or I could offer a combo of done for you with my team or something like that. The point is, what I want you to see here is that even if, you know, you're not getting super crazy rich off of the break even, or, you know, you're maybe not getting crazy rich off of the 997, when you have an audience, it allows you the opportunity to continually come up with new ideas and new ways to serve, and you can generate interest very easily. Now, this is a little bit more advanced in terms of, you know, we could do an entire program just on influencer, the influencer business model, but it's very, very important for you to understand that as you are building these machines and as you're running traffic, regardless of what the sales are that happen instantly within that machine, you are creating a long-term asset. A long-term asset that you can tap into at any point. And in this video, I want to give you an update on what I did to tap into that asset, my email list and my community, to generate revenue without having to build a new machine and build all these crazy things. As a matter of fact, what I want to share with you here is how over the past couple of days, let's just take a look here. And if we say, okay, so I started the launch on October 8th, okay, which was a Monday, and it went to October 15th, which is today. Which actually we could do this. Let's see. I don't think anyone bought today. I'm pretty sure I closed it last night. Yeah, okay. So October 8th to October 14th, and I'm going to give you my launch emails as well so you can see, but you can see these are the emails we sent to the email list. The launch day was the 8th. We did all of our pre-launch stuff, and then we went all the way to the 14th, which is our close down. Okay? Now I'm going to talk a little bit about this process. These emails, for the most part, were already written. I'll explain why here in a second. You can see we did nearly $40,000, but that's not totally true because we have 3 pays. So we'll do some math here in a second. But we made a decent amount of money in a couple of days, and here's what the entire quote-unquote, you know, if we're thinking of these in terms of funnels or machines, here's all of the pages that we used. Very, very simple, you guys. There was no workshop. There was no craziness. Emails were very simple. No real automations required. And here is all we had. So we had our sales letter. This is a longer sales letter because I was selling a $500 program without any videos or any webinars or anything like that. So typically your sales letters have to be a little bit longer. Here is the order page. Very, very simple. And then of course our thank you page. So literally 3 pages and a couple of emails that I had already written, and we were able to generate those $38,000 in sales. Now let's actually do a little bit of math here. Okay, and we'll talk about all of this process, and we'll talk about why I love this process so much. Okay, so this is was a $495 product. We sold 115, which isn't totally true because, let me see, 58 plus 44. We actually only sold 102. The 115 comes from these 12. Hold on, let me do some math here. Oh, sorry, opt-ins. I was looking at the wrong one. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so we had 102 sales, 115 opt-ins. That just means that there were 13 people who went to the checkout page, they put in their information, and then they decided not to purchase. Maybe their card didn't work. Maybe they, decided not to at the last minute to purchase, etc. What I want to actually show you though is what ClickFunnels is showing us here, this 38,000, they're just showing us collected. But I want to show you here, we had a 3-pay, right? And you can see that a little more than half of people who purchased on the single pay, and then a little less than half purchased the 3-pay. But what I want to show you here is, if we do, let's see, 44, well, actually what we can just do is this 8580, and we know that that's going to be 3 payments. So 25 plus 28710. So really this was actually a $54,000 launch that we did in about a week, okay, in terms of deferred revenue. Now what's going to be very, very nice about this 3 payment, and why I juggle back and forth between 3 pays, because sometimes, people forget that they paid, and then 30 days later they're like, why did you charge me again? And you're like, well, because you signed up for a 3 pay, you know how to explain. But what's really, really nice is that 30 days from now, I'm going to get $8,580 for nothing. And then 30 days after that, I'll get another $8,580. So you can see how the 3 pay is kind of a nice little way to, one, get more sales, because some people just want to finance it, and that's fine. But also in terms of, if you only needed $8,000 a month for the, and that was fine with you, and that was enough money for you, and having this $28,000 in your pocket plus $8,000 every month, and if that was sort of fine with you in terms of your living lifestyle and what your goals were and all of those sorts of things, you could literally do what I'm about to share with you once, and then take 3 months off, and then do it again and take 3 months off. So you can see how that's kind of a fun way to add some revenue into your business as well. To have, I know that in 30 days from now, $8,000 is coming down the pipe, and then 30 days after that, $8,000 coming down the pipe as well. You can also see that we added an order bump. This is a $129 order bump. 11% of the people who purchased this particular, actually that's not totally true, that's just 11% of purchases. No, I think it is 11% of these purchases. The order bump conversion rate is what that was. So that was an extra $1,500, really just for putting an order bump of a product that we already had. Okay, so that's the financial results. I know that everybody likes to see those, and that's great and that's awesome. We're happy for that. But I want to talk about how to run these types of launches. Okay, so those are the results, and we talked about how to think about this. Here's the stats. But I want to talk about how you pull something like this off. Okay. So it's very, very simple. It really starts with writing a good sales letter. Now, this is outside the scope of our program in terms of writing these long form sales letters. But it's important to understand that you don't have to do a workshop every time you want to sell something. So, if you don't, now I recommend a workshop for cold traffic, but if you have an audience and you've been emailing them and they like you, you can do a lot of really good numbers here with a long form sales letter. It's very simple. You can see there's no design. It's just a background and some words. And you can, the short version of how would I write something like that, Mike? One is just look at what you have to prove out in the workshop template. Take a look at the sales letter template that I've given you, and just realize, the purpose of this is to make a sale. And so that's one way. Kind of hack your way through it. 2 is, of course, you could hire me or some other copywriter to write one for you. And look, let's be real here for a second. You could hire me at my copywriting fees, which is between $7,500 and $15,000 to write a sales letter like this. And you would have come out on top, right? Now you need a kind of a big email list and et cetera, but that just goes to show, there's a reason why a lot of companies hire copywriters for a lot of money. They know that it's a good deal to be able to get these kinds of results. Or of course, if you wanted to, and here's something that we're going to kind of jump around here for a second because it's just an update video, but one of the things that I think I could have done to improve results is if I had taken the same exact workshop template and given a sort of mini workshop on top of this sales page. So if it had been, pre-headline, headline, sub-headline, and then if I had embedded a video here. Now I wouldn't have done the whole 90-minute workshop. I probably would have cut it down to 45 minutes, right? And I would have made it a little bit shorter. And where I would have shortened it is I think I would have shortened it in the intro, right? So you don't need a big intro because they already know you. The audience already knows you. And then I probably would have shortened it a little bit on the teaching aspect, because again, the audience already knows me, so they don't need to know whether or not I can help them. I've already helped them, right? With my daily emails, with Facebook group stuff. They know me. They know like how I work, so I don't need to be out there proving to them that I can help them. So I might shorten the teaching a little bit, and I might just go a little bit more heavier on the pitch, and then within the sales letter, taking some of the pressure off of the sales letter by having that additional form for people to sort of consume the information, right? So for you, for example, you have the workshop script, the template. So what you could do is you could do the best you possibly can with your sales letter and just realize it's not a $10,000 Mike sales letter. I don't have the money to go hire Mike or hire someone like Mike to write a sales letter of that quality. But what I do have is the same workshop template that Mike uses. So I will make a shortened version of that, and then as best as I possibly can, maybe I'll go research some other sales pages, I'll go research some sales copy, I might buy a copywriting course, and then I'll fill the rest of that with the best copy that I can possibly do. And by bringing both of those tools to bear, I should maximize my results. Okay, so that's all that is. And then of course, this is literally just the same exact checkout template that you guys have. I use it for everything, and then our thank you page. But I want you to think about this for a second, is when I built this sales page, it wasn't in October. So I'm recording this video in October. This sales page I wrote in May when we first launched this product. Okay, so what that means is when I decided to launch this product to my email list again, right, 6 months later, right, so May, June, July, August, September, October, 6 months later I decided to launch this product, then all I had to do was just come down here and put the buy button back in. Literally what I had to do, and I'll show you, is I took this off because we had this on last time, right? So obviously the offer's closed now, but when I launched it in May, we closed it down. So when I decided, and this was very spur of the moment, okay, I want to launch this to the list again. I could use, $40,000, $50,000 right now. I just deleted this. I went all the way down here and I put the button, get the offer now. In ClickFunnels, I just put it back in, and then I linked it to the checkout page. Otherwise, if people hit this page, they can't get to the checkout page. So that's all I did. I just put the buy button back in, essentially. And then the second thing I did is I asked people for testimonials. So I didn't have testimonials the first time I launched it. This time I did. So I asked for a bunch of testimonial videos, put those up. It didn't really increase sales as much as I thought it was going to. I think it might be just because I put them so far down, but it gave me a little bit of a bump. And that's all I did. I changed some of this information, right? So I changed it from wherever it was, like May 15th at 11:59. I changed it to October 8th at 11:59. Also, I changed the bonus, right? So initially, I think the bonus was if you order by midnight, I'll give you a free critique of your blog or whatever. Because what this program is it teaches people how to write blog posts. Well, I didn't want to do that this time. I don't really have time to be giving away free time, right? I wanted to maximize my productivity in my own business and really sort of minimize how much time I'm spending on these programs. And so instead, I said, let's do a kind of a cool thing where I'm going to give a virtual workshop. And if you order by 11:59 on October 8th, which was the day it opened, then you'll get a free ticket to that 2-day event, right? And so that was the bonus this time instead. So I changed that. Otherwise, the bonuses from last time are the same. Everything else is the same guarantee, same copy. I didn't really update any of this. I think I might have deleted some chunks of the sales letter just to make it a faster read, but that's all I did. Okay. So that's all it took to get this quote unquote machine for selling this $495 program. That's how long it took me to get this set up to do it again. Does that make sense? So the idea here, again, I'm trying to share with you the results that I got while sharing with you some strategies. I had this $500 program. I launched it back in May for the first time. 6 months later, I launched it. I'm going to launch it again next summer. Like, I know that's going to happen. And what that means is that I have this product in rotation. Okay. And so by it being in rotation, I can expect this $40,000 at least twice a year. And as my email list grows bigger, I know those numbers will grow bigger just by the definition of my audience is going to be bigger. Okay. And as long as I don't turn into a gross person, those numbers should increase with the increase of my audience. Does that make sense? So when I launched this in May, I didn't make $40,000. I think I made something like 30. So 30 deferred. I think this is 50 deferred, right? Is what we decided. We did the math. So this time is 50 deferred. Last time it was something like 30 deferred or something around there. So what has changed from May to today is that my audience has grown almost, by a lot, right? So that's why I made more this time. Same emails, same sales letter, a few tweaks here and there, but not enough that would be like, oh my gosh, that's a ton of money. That's the reason why the conversions are so high, etc. And now I have an asset. So what I want you to think of is this idea of an asset, that your audience is an asset, that you can build assets. That includes your break-even offers. That includes your order bumps. That includes your upsells. That includes your signature program. Just because someone doesn't buy that asset within the machine process doesn't mean you can't come back and try selling it to them again. So for example, there are people on my email list who purchased Happy Writer, which is the name of this program, who purchased it this time, who didn't purchase it last time. Maybe it was because last time it wasn't right for them, or maybe they didn't trust me yet, or maybe they weren't in a position, or maybe when they read it last time, they didn't have the right beliefs, or maybe when they read it last time, they didn't read the part that would have tipped them over the edge, but this time they did, and this time they did open that email. Last time they didn't open the email. So there's so many factors that go into making a sale that it's all really circumstantial, right? So there's nothing wrong with reselling something to someone. Right? So again, I want you to think about this, that no matter what happens with your machines, as long as you're building that email list, you're building an audience, and you can do a lot of really incredible things with that, including this. Now, let's talk about the email strategy. Again, I'm going to give you guys I'm just going to link this so that you can see it. All I did is just twice a day, I would email, right? So let me switch this really quick. I would just send an email in the morning and an email in the evening. We had some pre-launch emails, so here they go. You can take a look at those pre-launch emails. We had our launch day announcement email, and then in that same day, I wanted to make sure that if they wanted to buy to get the free tickets, they needed to buy by the end of the day. And then, of course, we just have sales emails here until the last 2 days, last 48 hours, which was a Saturday and a Sunday, in which we have our close down emails, which you guys are all familiar with from from the templates that I've given you. Now, I want you to take a look at these emails so that you can see different version of a series of emails that you could send to launch something like this. Again, we didn't have a live event, so there was no need to get people to register for anything. There was no need to get them to Zoom or to anything like that. All I did is every single day I would send these as broadcasts to my email list. So there was nothing advanced, there was no segmentation, there was nothing. It was just send these emails to this sales page. That's it. It wasn't sending them to a pre-sale page. It wasn't sending them anywhere. It was as low key of a launch as you can possibly imagine. In the Six Figure Writer program, we call this a quick launch. Okay, so this is about as low key of a launch as you can possibly create and generate. And you can see the results here. Now, could I have made more money from this launch? Absolutely. Here's what I probably should have done. One is the workshop, right? So just adding more conversion mechanisms. The other, of course, is a retargeting campaign. So what I probably could have done is put a pixel on this page with Facebook, and then everybody who hits this page, they would just get hammered with testimonials on Facebook. I just decided not to do it because one, I was lazy. And that's just a true story. Like, I thought about it and I knew it would give me more sales, but I just decided, I don't really want to do that right now. I was traveling while this was going on, by the way. I went to 2 separate masterminds while all of this was going on. So I made $40,000 traveling all over, and that's how low key it was. I didn't have to be anywhere. What I would do is I'd write the, tweak the emails, because you have to tweak these emails. So you'll see that some of these emails have like very specific date and time information. And so I had to like tweak them. Some of these emails I did write for the first time. So, for example, this one I had to write for the first time because originally I didn't have free tickets for a writer's workshop as a bonus, remember? So I had to write this one for the first time. I think there was one on the close down day that I just wanted to replace one of the old emails. And so it was something like, I think it was this one here. Let's see. Yeah, what happens in Vegas gets broadcast to 50,000 people. So this Thursday and Friday, which would have been, I think, the 11th and the 12th or something like that. Anyways, one of these days, what I ended up doing was replacing. So Thursday and Friday I was at a mastermind in Vegas, and so one of the things that I did is I just ended up talking about that a little bit here in one of the emails, just because I thought that'd be fun and personal. But that was all I had to do, and so otherwise I was traveling all around to be able to make these sales. And so again, this is a very low key process for doing launches. And I certainly sacrificed some money by not adding a bunch of other things. So there's retargeting. And then the other thing I probably could have done, and these are just sort of like low hanging fruit type stuff, 3 emails on the final 2 days. So on the final 2 days here, you see 2 on the 13th and 2 on the 14th. I probably could have gotten away with another email on both of those days, and I think I probably could have made another 5 or 6 sales. So those would have been, worth about $2,500. I think is probably what I missed out on there just by not adding those 2 other emails. Now, some of you are seeing the email frequency and thinking, "Oh my gosh, Michael, what the heck, dude? Didn't people unsubscribe?" Absolutely. Yes, people unsubscribe. Did they unsubscribe more than when I send 1 email per day or more than when I send any email frequency? No, they did not. And that's really, really important to remember. See, some people think that sending sales emails gets a higher unsubscribe versus sending non-sales emails, and that's actually not true. So what gets an unsubscribe is when you are unwelcome in someone's inbox. So whether you're asking them to give you money or not, it's about whether you are unwelcome in someone's inbox. So you could give free information that could literally change their life, but if they view that information as unwanted for whatever reason, then people will make up all sorts of reasons why they think something is unwanted, and they'll do all sorts of mind trickery, and it's incredible the lengths that people will go to refuse growth, to refuse change, to refuse belief change, and all this. So even if it's free information, as long as it's unwanted, they'll unsubscribe from you. I want people on my list who don't unsubscribe when there's $1 attached. So think about that for a second. If people unsubscribe from this asset that I'm building, which is my audience, because I'm asking for money, because I'm saying I'll give you some additional stuff for a fee, and they unsubscribe, that's fantastic. Because otherwise, what I'm doing is I am working hard to keep someone on my email list who never wants to pay me. So I am working for free. Now, if you take that on the flip side, essentially what you are saying is that I am willing to ignore the needs of people who would happily pay me for those who would not. And you say, what are you talking about, Mike? Think about it. If somebody wants an advanced version of my free information, let's say that I'm giving away free information. If somebody wants the templates and they want me to put the effort into the full instruction, and they want the business plan, and they want the this, and they want the that, and like they're at that point in their life where they're saying, I need the next level of help, right? I need the templates. I need the stuff I can just copy and plug in. If I spend my business only focusing on the people who want free information, who are by definition in a different place, right? They're in the sort of just thinking about it, and just playing mental games with themselves about it, and they're not ready yet to go to the next step and to commit and to get the templates and to put in the work and to get the additional training. Then what I'm doing is I'm actually could potentially and very likely giving the vibe that if you're serious, this isn't the place for you. And so I may be giving out incredibly good content for free, but because I'm not selling anything, those people who are ready to buy to go to the next level, your emails are now all of a sudden unwanted. Because that's not what they want. They want the next level. So when I see unsubscribes, to me, it's just filtering out who is ready to go to the next step versus those who are just sort of, taking up our bandwidth, who are sending in ridiculous emails, who are complaining, who are, all these sorts of things. I found as a general rule that those individuals who are unwilling to pay and who complain about the fact that I'm asking them to pay, they typically are not the people I would want to work with anyways. Like, I found that pattern. And it has nothing to do with they don't have money or they do have money. Obviously, there are plenty of people who don't want to pay for this stuff who have plenty of money, right? They go to Starbucks every day. They've got plenty of money. It's just that I found that in terms of working with those individuals, to help them is problematic at best. They typically, there's a lot more there than just money problems. And I'm not trying to speak ill of anybody. I just think from an experience perspective, I've noticed that it's not worth sacrificing those who are willing to pay, right? By putting all of your time, attention, and shaping your content for those who aren't willing to pay. Because even if you could convince the people who aren't willing to pay to buy something from you, oftentimes it's just very, very problematic in terms of their attitudes, their receptiveness, their willingness to put in the work, and those sorts of things. Okay, so that is it, my dear friends, for this update. I just wanted to show you that no matter what happens, as long as you continue to build the audience, you'll always have an opportunity to turn a positive ROI whenever you desire to do so. Okay, that's what I wanted to sort of show you and how easy it can be. And once you build this little mini asset, right? So if I want to launch this again in 6 months, all I have to do is come through these emails, tweak some of them, come through this, tweak a few things, but otherwise it's all built and set up. So all you do is you spend, this is how easy, one day, you spend one day, and it's not even a full 2 hours to do this. At least for me, it wasn't even a full 2 hours. I take these, I tweak them, upload them into ActiveCampaign, and away I go. Like I just went for the week. What happened, the money came in that came in, and that's all that there was for this launch. So I just wanted to show you, give you an idea here with real data and real stats so you could see what is available to you with this business. Now, are you going to be doing $38,000 in a single week off of, when you very first start? No, but it's, less than a year away. If you just keep going, if you keep scaling, you keep rocking, you could certainly generate several $1,000s from the email list you have built in the first couple of weeks, right? So as this process grows, as your audience grows, so will your sales. This is a really, really fun way to serve people without having to necessarily handhold and without having to do done for you, but also a great way to increase your earnings in this business. So that's it, my dear good friends. I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you later.